Good. Welcome, everyone, to the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting on April 13th, 2023. Wow, I'm overwhelmed with the crowd that we have here tonight. I'm glad you're here. I want to welcome Anne Marie Fudenti, our legal counsel tonight. Thank you. And we have Rebecca up front here to make sure we say the right things in the minutes, so thank you. All right, Trace, let's see, I'm going to clear up. First of all, we need adjournment on the last 6 Fred's Lane. Somebody want to read that to the 27th? Oh, we don't have, I'm sorry, we don't have to read it because they weren't noticed properly. So the only thing we're adjourning is HK Ventures, and that has been decided on already for May. Is that correct? Okay. And then we'll go right into our hearings. It was quick. Did you get every word? Good.
Okay. I'm sorry, did you want me to read the HK Venture? Okay.
Roanoke,
The next one?
yes.
Okay. Appeal 2023-020, 644 Roanoke Avenue, LLC, 644 Roanoke Avenue, Riverhead, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600-126-4-3, Professional Business Zoning, for variances and/or relief from Chapter 301-222E, where proposed addition increases floor area within a required side yard, which represents an increase in degree of nonconformity of a pre-existing nonconforming dwelling not permitted.
You're not a lawyer,
Good
are you?
evening. No, I'm the applicant.
Okay. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Please state your name and address, please.
Kelly Bennett, 1257 Udall Road, Bay Shore, New York, 11706.
Okay, before you start,
Sure.
there's a lot of stuff here to digest and look
Okay.
at. Could you tell us when this property was purchased and what it was when you purchased it?
Well, so I'm not the property owner. I'm the representative and agent for the property owner as well as the architect's office. So I had filed on behalf of the property owner. They did purchase in September of '21.
Okay, and what was it when you purchased it? What was the configuration in there?
The configuration, and we did submit existing plans, it was 2 units, first floor and second floor, completely identical, approximately 697 square feet, 1 bedroom, 1 bath.
On each floor?
Yes. Actually, let me just confirm.
And then the last question I have before
Yes.
you go on, did you file a rental permit at that time?
The building department didn't bring up any rental. I'm assuming the homeowners took care of that when they took.
So you don't know?
I don't know.
That's
Okay.
2 you don't know.
No. I mean, I'm assuming that there's an active rental permit.
Well, to inform you, the actual rental permit expired in March of 2021. So
21, okay.
So there is, I was wondering at the beginning, did you guys have a rental permit?
I just saw a copy from a prior owner, something very old. I haven't seen anything recent on the rental. What brought us in was an application to the building department.
So can I ask you for
Yeah.
clarification?
Anne Marie, you gotta talk into the mic. Thank you.
Can I ask you for a clarification? You just stated that the floor plan for the first floor and second floor were identical. Can you describe what those floor plans were?
Yes, I could also give you a copy because we do have the existing, as well as the proposed laid out. Would you like me to submit that for record?
Well, you can just walk me through.
Okay, so
Describe to me the first floor.
first floor had a kitchen/dinette area, one bedroom, one bathroom. As well as the upstairs was pretty much a mirrored unit of the first floor.
Okay, so each had a kitchen, dining room, one bedroom, one bath.
Yes, and what we're proposing is the increase in bedrooms for the addition.
Are you gonna retain the living room?
Yes, we're actually reconfiguring the layout, so it would be a much nicer layout, larger kitchen and living room areas, and then 3 nice-sized bedrooms. So they're hoping to, perhaps, get a nice family in there. It is a non-conforming two-family, and it's considered and, important to the district, so they're really looking forward to trying to fix it up.
And which floor for those 3 bedrooms?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Which floor would those 3 bedrooms be on?
For each unit, the proposed addition is 20-foot 6 by 16.5 in the rear, and that is for the increase of 2 bedrooms, so it's the same, first floor and second floor.
So, earlier, how many bedrooms are you proposing on the first floor?
3 bedrooms.
Okay, so you would be adding 2 bedrooms?
Adding 2 bedrooms to each unit is the proposed application.
So it would be a total, your proposal is a total of 3 bedrooms each floor?
Each floor.
Would each floor have a living room?
Each floor, let's see, each floor has a kitchen, living room area? Yes, each floor has a living room. The layout is a bit different. On the second floor, that living room area is to the front.
Would each-
I'm sorry, the second floor has the living room to the front because the way the stairs come up. So the kitchen is somewhat in the middle with the bathroom and dining area. And then the proposed first floor plan has the kitchen right in the front, and then bedroom, living room, and the other 2 bedrooms.
But it's a dining area, not a dining room.
No, this is a kitchen dinette area. Kitchen, full kitchen and full living room. And then the second floor has the dining area with the kitchen and the living room.
She described it, that's a living room. It says bedroom. That's a living room. The plan we have on the second floor coming up the stairs, you have a bedroom and a bedroom. You said one of those rooms is the living room?
Yeah, I do have revised plans. That was actually a mistake. That is where it is existing right now. So I can submit those to you, showing the 3 bedrooms on each floor.
Please.
Okay. You guys can keep that.
It doesn't, because this one is a bedroom.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
She's
we
got a living room
accidentally left the bedroom on that
and
one.
living room. So they made this is the new one.
Right.
So this one is bedroom, bedroom. This is
Living room, bedroom. Dining room. And this-
kitchen existing, there's nothing here,
Yeah, there's no dining room
right?
on the first floor, the second, yeah, first floor. How about up on this one?
There's dining area.
Dining area, not dining room.
So you had submitted a prior plan, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay.
we made a building permit application for the addition.
Okay. And when you submitted that plan, did that also
Yeah, it does, yeah.
include a diagram of the proposed
What they
layout?
have here.
Yes, it
they have
did.
a first-
And let me just ask, and was that prepared by GM Design Services and dated 11/30 of 2022?
11:30. Yes, we received our denial about March, so that should have been dated.
Okay. And you reviewed that prior to it being submitted, correct?
We did. That was
Okay.
actually a mistake I picked up at the town board hearing when I had the plans in front of me.
Okay, so, but you submitted that as part of this application, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay, so I'm just going to draw your attention to that plan. And that plan actually, for the proposed second floor, described and labeled 4 bedrooms in total, 2 of them labeled existing. So that's incorrect.
So this second floor you're saying had, you know what it is? It's very difficult for us to get in there. We couldn't, there's a tenant on the second
I
floor.
have the updated one, Anne Marie.
No, but I just, you know,
Which she's
the
stating-
record, the
yes, for the record.
application that was submitted to you just prior, you know, to you being handed a new plan.
Right.
So I just want to be clear, because what you submitted as part of your application actually described and depicted a total of proposed 4 bedrooms on the second floor, and 2 of them were labeled existing.
Yes, and so I think what you're getting at is the first floor probably had, oh, are you okay? 1 bedroom, and the second floor unit has 2. However, they're in the process of evicting that tenant. They've been in a disaster with the second floor tenant. So I know that when we got into measure, it was very brief and quick. So if we showed 2 existing, then there probably are 2 upstairs, 1 downstairs, and we are proposing 3 on each floor.
Okay, but you just described and represented that originally the first floor and second floor mirrored each other, each with 1 bedroom.
Yes, that I got off a Zillow listing today because I was trying to be as most accurate as it would have been represented at the time.
So when was a second bedroom created? And if it was created, were building permits applied for in order to do that?
That I wouldn't know. I mean, we've done all the FOIL research and gotten back all of our COs. One was for an addition and interior alterations. However, I didn't FOIL for the approved set of plans for that building permit. I wouldn't know if someone changed something within
Well,
those
I'm s-
layouts in the past.
So I'm just struggling because you're representing the first floor and second floor each only had 1 bedroom. Now, you're telling me that the second floor had 2 bedrooms.
Has currently. So
I
I'd
know.
like to
So how did we go from-
revise my
Ma'am,
statement.
ma'am,
I
ma'am.
really didn't know
Ma'am,
this,
ma'am,
yes.
ma'am. Try not to speak when she's speaking and vice versa. She can only take down one person
Okay.
at a time. Let her finish first, please.
So I'm trying to determine the change from 1 bedroom to 2.
And that I would have to further research as
Okay.
to when that actually happened. I wouldn't know if that was part, like I said, of that other permit for interior alterations.
This is,
Yeah, I want to ask about that.
the bathroom and the bedroom. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I
so-
mean,
Wait a minute. Go ahead.
Are you done?
no, the goal is to create a much nicer layout than there is now and actually have it be a much nicer rental for the 2-family, being that it's illegal too. The homeowner would not be committed if the board had an issue with the bedroom count specifically. I'm sure they would look at the layout if the board felt like they weren't willing to grant more than 2 bedrooms. It just hadn't come up from the building inspector. We were here for a side yard setback,
Yeah, no, I think the
in
question...
addition to gross floor area.
Yeah, no, I think the question really was just related, that question was just related to what was really there. Is it 1 bedroom there, is it 2 bedrooms there? Things are in conflict. I have a question more just on the first floor. I want to make sure I'm reading this right. So the 1 bathroom on the first floor, you have to go through a bedroom to get into.
So you can enter it from the hall and the dining area, or from that bedroom. So it's like a Jack and Jill with 2 doors.
I don't know how you,
On your plan, that doesn't look like it. There's one, what you just gave to us, I see 1 door that gets you there.
And you're on the first floor or the second floor?
first
The
floor.
proposed first floor, there's a kitchen area with a closet, and then you've got walls or the...
Yes, so
Yeah.
that area, I don't know if they would have revised that in the, before submitting to the building department for a final set of plans, honestly. I don't know if there's a code against that.
I'm just asking, just,
Well, it's just strange, you got three
Well,
bedrooms
it's
in
a
all of them.
very narrow house, obviously, as you guys know, so I think the struggle was more just laying everything out in the space that we do have.
Well, the question just seemed odd that you got three bedrooms and everybody's going through one bedroom to go to the bathroom. That's, it's just a question, okay?
Yeah, no, I'll definitely bring it up to the architect. I mean, basically, the other existing properties, so we have 648 Roanoke that did have a similar rear addition. We're not really coming much further past that. We still have over 36 feet between the proposed addition and the existing detached garage, so plenty of access on the back of Elton and the front of Roanoke for everyone. So it's very much in character. We did go to the town board meeting and the preservation board already. And again, we were just told that any increase to gross floor area triggered us into a zoning approval. So all of this and the plans were to get us to town board and zoning board.
and just as a side note, the intent is this is an LLC, so it'll continue to be a rental, a multifamily rental?
Yes, that's why they purchased it, because of the non-conforming legal two-family. It is in the business district, so there's not many properties such as this one.
So how many people were living in this house?
I wouldn't even know. They've had a struggle, since they purchased, to get those tenants that were in there out. I mean, the property pretty much looks vacant.
Yeah, we can do that. Is anybody on Zoom?
Anybody?
Are they on?
Yeah, you did.
George Patton said, how I hate the 20, George Patton said, how I hate the 20th century.
I just want to, for tonight, in other words, the bedroom count isn't what triggered the zoning hearing, correct? It's the, if I'm understanding correct, it is the additional increase of gross floor area and degree of nonconformity?
Recording in progress.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and to be clear, their questions, while they relate to bedrooms, also can relate to environmental conditions, traffic conditions, adverse impact upon the neighborhood.
Oh,
So they're
yes.
all absolutely relevant questions they're asking you.
Yes, I just wanted to understand better.
So I do have one question in terms of need. So they purchased this home knowing the size that it was? And the reason for the increase, and which triggers the zoning variances here, are because they cannot make the income that they're looking for? Because it's purchased as a rental. I just want to make sure I understand
Yes.
the need. So
I mean,
back
it's
to
in
that
a-
self-created portion?
Yeah, I understand in terms of the proposed addition is self-created. It's a very rundown property. It hasn't really been well taken care of. They were actually really excited to get two really nice units in there. The layouts just don't really lend themselves to, an actual family, the way they're laid out right now. So, again, they are under the impression that because it is non-conforming in the business district, that it was something that was considered, important to the community to improve.
Okay. All right,
I
thank
mean,
you.
they can't really change, the layout or improve those units for the next tenant or family.
So, just to be clear, you recited that it is self-created, the hardship.
Our proposed addition, yes, we made an application for a proposed addition.
Okay. Because I thought on your application, you had checked off that it
Well,
was
I
not
have
a
it
self-created
here.
hardship.
It's been quite some time. And I believe I checked that because there is really no other means of gaining any kind of gross floor area without a proposed addition. I don't know how else they would gain any floor area for living space.
Did we recapture anybody on Zoom? No, okay.
All right.
I know Mr. Raynello said he may or may not call in, but we spoke earlier, so he might not.
So from the original size of the structure to the proposed addition, what percentage of increase is there in the square footage?
Let's see. So the proposed increase of square footage is 600, let's see.
326.
Our existing is 715, I'm sorry. We're adding 338.9 on each floor. So,
It's like 50%.
660.
and our existing, lot coverage, we are still below. We did, we tried to maintain as best as we could. So it's a 4%, less than a 4% increase if you count the garage to floor area. Because the existing garage is close to 500 square feet as it sits.
I don't know that I agree with your calculation, that it's less than 4%, but
They're listing the proposed lot coverage at 20, I think it's 20.8, and the existing at 16.2. And all that's in there is the proposed 338 square feet for each floor.
Do you have a copy of the original rental application?
I don't believe so. Let me just see if it's in with what we foiled for, because I would think that that would have come back and had been submitted. Let's see. I have for the two-family residence with two-car detached garage built prior to 63. received back from the foils was the interior alterations to the residence from 84. And I'm just trying to see if there's anything else, but whatever we foiled for is what we received. Let's see. This one was reconstruct rear wood deck, so that's not it. Yeah, and everything else that we received back was submitted with the actual zoning application.
Yes,
We got back that it wasn't before town board or
It's Miss
zoning.
Bennett, right?
Yes.
Okay. I guess I'm having a hard time putting around the number of people that are gonna be in this house from when it started. Okay, now we've increased to, what is it, 3 bedrooms? Right?
Yeah, which would be, it's a legal two-family, so the idea would be that each unit is a family, a regular 3 to 4 bedroom. That's,
So, what is that? That could be 3 people, 4 people, 5 people?
well, I guess it would depend if it's a couple with one child or, a sister, and I don't know. The goal would be to get, again, a family that can enjoy the, community and all the preservation that's been done in the district. That would be the goal.
Me too.
And is it your position?
Is anyone
based-
in the audience that would like to speak to this? Anybody?
Is it
Okay.
your, I'm sorry.
No Zoom? There's things that we have to mull over here and look into, and I've only got 3 members tonight.
Okay.
We only have 5. I'd like to have it with the full board present so that, we look at everything very thoroughly and clearly.
27.
And that would be the 27th of April. We'd adjourn it to, all right?
That
Mr. Chairman, I
sounds
so move be adjourned to the 27th.
Second.
Mr. Zillo,
Aye.
Mr. Zawiski.
Aye.
And I vote aye, so we'll see you on the 27th, and you heard the question, so if you had any more information at that time, that would be great.
So I just want to confirm that the plan that you desire the zoning board of appeals to consider as part of your application is the plan you submitted tonight.
Yes, and I will have the architect look that over for the different access, the bathroom thing, anything that they may not have addressed for not a building department review essentially.
Well, the plans should be submitted that would pass building department muster. So if it's your intention that the zoning board of appeals look at something different from that which you submitted tonight, you should contact Tracy and make sure sufficient time is given so the members of the board have time to review it.
Perfect. Okay.
Good night.
Thank
Good
you very
night.
much, Ms.
Absolutely, we'll
Bennett.
get right on that. Thank you for your time.
Pleasure. Trace?
Okay, Appeal 2023-021 Alvarado and Dubon, 1068 West Main Street, Riverhead, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600-125-2-8.3, RFC zoning for variances and/or relief from Chapter 301-165, where proposed front yard setback is 60 feet, minimum required is 100 feet, and proposed side yard setbacks are 20.2 feet and 20.2 feet, minimum required are 30 feet and 60 feet total.
Okay, how are you tonight? Please raise your right hand. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so
I do.
help. Name and address?
Monica Majewski, 30 Stoller Drive, East Quogue, New York, 11942.
And tell us what you're seeking.
So I'm here tonight to represent the owner on this application. 1068 West Main Street is in RFC zoning. We're asking for a front yard setback relief of 60 feet where 100 feet is required, and side yard setbacks of 20.2 feet where 30 feet and total of 60 feet are required. This lot is 20,110 square feet, and as you can see on the provided survey, has almost a triangle-like shape, which made it very challenging to place the house that would meet side yard setbacks requirements. Its backyard width is only 42.5 feet, where the front is at 155 feet. The owner is proposing two-story, four-bedroom dwelling with attached garage for his family. The house will be on a slab, so no basement, as shown on the plans. The proposed house will make a nice addition to the surrounding area. We located 9 two-story houses in the neighborhood, and one example being 1067 West Main Street, which is around 2,800 square feet. In addition to, this lot was a result of a minor subdivision approved on May 20th, 1983, which included a condition of turnaround T-shaped driveway, which was complied with on the survey and submitted with this application. This created lot is non-conforming to the new zoning. As far as the lot size, so we concluded this hardship was not self-created. The applicant is certain that these reliefs, if granted, would not have any adverse effect and impact on the physical or environmental conditions of the neighborhood. The new IA system would be installed as per DOH approval and storm runoff system in place as per town codes. The benefits sought by this applicant cannot be achieved by alternate means because of the zoning adopted and currently required setbacks. As I mentioned, it's only 20,000 square feet. I do have multiple letters from the neighbors with stating that don't have any objections to
Give them
this.
to Tracy, please.
Submit them to the clerk, please.
Do you have any questions for me?
Is there a spec home going on, or is there someone put their home on this lot?
Yeah, he's here actually.
Oh, okay, so the owner's here and they're
Yes.
buying. Are they gonna live there?
Yes,
Very good.
I know there's some neighbors here.
Okay. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Please state your name and address.
Judith Tuber, 1074 West Main Street, Riverhead. I had some question. This is going to be strictly a one-family dwelling, no businesses or rentals or anything permitted? Yes, okay.
Pull that mic down a little bit, Miss Edith.
Okay.
Thank you.
Alrighty. On your plans that we got, the survey that we got, I don't, you may have said it, but I didn't hear you. The cesspool is. Okay, it'll be in the front on raised prop with raised, because
Let's swear you in. Come on up, sir.
I am,
Right hand, please. Solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Please state your name and address.
Adrian Cunyor, 87 Sandy Court, Riverhead, New York, 11901.
And you're the owner?
I'm actually his boss. I'm gonna help him go through the whole project.
How do you spell your last name?
Cunyor, K-O-N-I-O-R. K-O-N-I-O-R.
You can bring that up a little, sir. Yeah,
K-O-N-I-O-R.
okay. Now, what was the question?
About the cesspool.
the reason I'm questioning the septic system is because we are very close to the groundwater as well. We are about 2 feet. We were about like 2 feet from the groundwater, and we had to truck in truckloads of sand because the cesspool had to be on top of the ground. It couldn't be buried. And I was wondering if the same applies to his,
That
will
would
apply
be
to
determined
his
by the
house,
health
or they have a
department.
different septic system.
That would be determined by the health department.
My other concern about this groundwater issue is we are supposedly in the wild and scenic river area, and on about a corridor about a half mile wide on each side of the river is considered wild and scenic, and I was under the impression you couldn't allow building, but in addition to that, there would be state restrictions about building in this area.
Go ahead, Ann.
So, the zoning adopted by the town board is the Riverfront Corridor zoning district. Those uses are actually very limited. Dwelling, one family, not two, one family. River-related retail uses, non-motorized open space recreational uses. So to your point, in the recreation, I don't want to say it wrong, in the corridor that it's in, these are the permitted uses. The health department, I can tell you, takes a very hard look at septic systems proximate to the Peconic River, okay, which is a protected estuary. In addition, just to, in reviewing this application and the relief the applicant is seeking, they're not seeking to put the dwelling closer to, they're actually moving it further up into the front yard, giving greater distance to the, critical area. Okay, I guess that's my, did you have a question? Yes, I think I'm finished. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please raise your right hand.
I'm an attorney in New York.
You're good.
Thank you.
What's your
My
name?
name is Bruce McAlpin. I'm the husband of Judith Tuber.
Okay.
We're looking at the big picture. This is a ecologically challenged property. The water table is only 2 feet, maybe 2.5 feet. And I've told everybody that came by to look at the land, you have to be careful with this, building a house on it, because we're sitting on top of the 200, just dig down on 200 feet and we're in water. We've been there, family has been there since 1830, and so when we had to have a new house put in, we had to figure out something or else move, and so it was decided, let's make a raised cesspool septic system. And that's within standards that were acceptable, and it's just Judy and I living there, 2 people. Moving the house forward, the Peconic is across the street, so moving it forward to the street moves it closer to the water. I don't know what difference that makes, but it's only 2.5 feet. So I heard our seller mention, no, there's no, can't have a cellar there. We're on top of water. The area, the 30 feet on either side of a house, first of all, that's as a purpose. The purpose is not to be crowding everybody and being built on top of everybody else. That increases, or at least maintains, satisfactory property values, not being crowded on somebody else. We can give a little bit there, I guess, but there's a purpose to it. It's so we have space, and that maintains proper property values. The other thing is, a lot of people living there, possibly. We're trying to keep the neighborhood nice. I came on the scene 30 years ago, and believe me, the neighborhood was terrible back then. All-night parties, all-night stereos, fights out in the street. And through our work over a couple of years, always bothering, sometimes here, but mostly at the police department, we finally got the neighborhood now where it's a nice neighborhood. We work all day, and when we go home at night, we're going to have peace and quiet, and then have a restful sleep so we can go out and work the next day. So that's what we're concerned about. I like everybody to have something, to have that house. I understand, but you can't have a big house and buy a small piece of property. If you want a big house, then you have to buy a bigger piece of property. So everybody has to consider everything. The big thing is, I think, look at the big picture, and I think the most important thing to us is the water table. And I gotta admit, I was surprised when we had to deal with it with our septic tank through, just no part of our own. The town just said the other house had to go, and so we had to make newer arrangements. as best we could, and so we did what we had to do, but I think that applies to this situation.
Okay. Well, whatever's required as far as septic systems, that's going to be met regardless.
Well, okay, that's going to be met regardless, which means,
Well, they're not going to put a septic system that's going to be below water. Okay,
or
so,
even on top of it, there has to be a distance, and that's why we had to buy truckloads of dirt and proper fill to raise it up high
well,
enough.
they might have to do the same thing.
Okay,
I'm not on the
that-
building department. We're just looking at the variance and what it means. It's really a small variance when you're looking at this property.
Okay, I understand that, and then maybe they talk about putting trees along the line. Well, if we do that, I want trees along the full line, and then, so, we have a little space, for crying out loud. And as far as the health situation, well, who do we talk to then? I thought that would be dealt with tonight.
Health department's not tonight. We
Say
have
again?
nothing- We do not have anything to do with the health department.
Well, at the cesspool then, well, we've got to take care of that somehow, and,
It will be taken care of by the law.
That'll be
Alright.
addressed.
So I have to correct myself. When I made the statement, I was on the wrong side of the road. So are you on the south or north side of the road?
we're on the north side of the road.
And are you immediately adjacent to this property?
Yes, I live on it.
Okay. No, I'm just...
We're the next property, yeah,
Yeah.
that's our fence line, yes.
Yes. Okay,
So, the water table there is the same as where I am,
okay.
or where we are. Now, we do everything we can to maintain the property and keep it going for another couple hundred years in the family maybe, I'm not sure, but we'd like to have everybody else do that around us too, and, it seems like there's just a lot of building going around lately with no control. All the trees coming down, the lots being cleared and building up.
Can I ask you, could you describe the configuration of your lot?
230 feet deep, 90 feet at the front and the back wide, east to west. North-south is 230 feet,
So it's basically rectangular, is that what you're saying?
slightly, rectangular.
Okay.
The property next door has about a 100-foot front, I believe, and it goes back 3/4 of the way, at least back to our back line, and then there's a little
Yeah.
edge that goes back 50
Yes.
feet by about 50 feet, 60 feet by 50 maybe, a little
Yeah.
tongue. So that's why they mentioned how all was restricted. Well, that's just a little tongue in the back. The front is basically close to half an acre.
Would any of you know about, are there any covenants on the land that go with the property?
It's just the driveway.
That's the one you mentioned, but
So you got to speak in the mic.
you gotta speak in the
Monica.
microphone.
The only thing I found from the subdivision, the driveway shape,
Okay.
not to go into the,
I'll speak to that. As far as the driveway, I think for years, the property has just been growing, has been full of trees. 100 years ago, there was a gas station there. That may be the driveway, old-fashioned gas station.
You don't remember that, though?
I wasn't living back then, no.
I would hope not.
Sir?
I says I would hope not.
Yeah. Anyhow, we're not starting an argument or a war or anything. Let's just weigh the pros and cons and the benefits and the costs to those benefits. And I think that's the way to do it. It's common sense.
Woman, the gentleman behind you, Mr. Conroe,
Yes.
you look like you were biting at the bit. Is there something you want to add?
No?
Okay. And nobody on Zoom either, I guess, right? What's that?
So, can I just confirm something? The garage, is there any habitable space above the garage?
We can, there's a bedroom,
Above the garage?
above the garage, but we can do either way. We can do the storage, or we can close it all up and,
No, I'll be honest with you, the reason I was asking, right, because you're out roughly, 22 foot, like 16 foot, something like that. You have basically a two-car garage, right? 16 by 8?
yeah,
So it's roughly a two-car garage.
it is, yeah.
I just didn't understand if there was something above it. If there was nothing above it, then the question would be, if you went by a one-car garage, would you be further ahead? I was just trying to understand, it goes back to that question of self-creation.
Right. I mean, I will have to check with the owners, but I'm not sure if he's gonna be open to that.
You don't have to give an answer back right now, I just wanted to understand what was up.
I mean, we just finished a project like this on North Fork, and he just like the design, and you know, he asked me to help him with the architect, and you know, we think that
Sure,
the
you wanna
house.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we think the house, it's a normal size. You know, we're not asking for anything big. You know, it's under 3,000 square feet. It's a 4-bedroom house. I mean, I'm familiar with the high water table septic tank. We just finished 2, so like whatever the engineer gonna
Whatever the law asks, you're
design,
follow.
we're gonna submit it to the DOH, and we've done many of those recently.
I think he wants to be heard again, too.
Okay. He wants to speak.
You want to speak again, sir?
Yes. The other thing is then the garage, where's the garage? Is it on the east side of the house or on the west side of the house? And why 2 garages? On the whole street, nobody has garages, so that's
Well,
saves
that
space
doesn't
right
mean you
there.
can't have a garage.
What's that?
Just because no one on the street has a garage doesn't mean that they shouldn't have a garage.
Okay, fine, I'm looking, you know, we want to save, space, use space, their garage, I mean, you know, it's just something to think about.
I think he wants to respond to that.
Yeah, the garage is on the east side, just for your edification,
It's on the east side.
East side?
east side.
Do you want to add something to that, sir?
I mean, it's one garage. It's not 2. It's 2-car garage. I mean, you're allowed to have garage. I mean,
I understand. Just saying, it's,
Very good.
we're looking to cut, save space and eliminate some, accessible crowding, and, garages are kind of, I'm sorry.
Very good.
We're trying to eliminate excessive use of space, and
Passing this.
garages, you know,
Pass
it's
this.
an option, something to think about.
I think we should pass.
Huh?
I think we should pass on this one.
All right, okay. Anybody else? All right, respectfully, Mr. Chairman, I move that the appeal of Maiden, Alvarado, Luis Alfredo, and Godoy Jennifer Marlene Dubin, 1068 West Main Street, SCTM number 600-125-2-8.3, Riverfront Corridor RFC zoning for variances and/or relief from Town Code Chapter 301-165, where proposed front yard setback is 60 feet, minimum required is 100 feet. Proposed side yard setbacks are 20.2 feet and 20.2 feet, minimum required are 30 feet and 60 feet total, be approved in accordance with the applications and sketches with amendments thereto, if any, as filed with the building inspector.
I second.
Mr. Gazillo?
Aye.
Mrs. Zawiski?
Aye.
And I vote aye, so your variance has been passed, and I'm sure that, I think you're going to be pleased because it's going to be built according to code, sir.
And also, as you understand, it can only be a single family. I know that was one of your concerns.
Yes, I mean, that's what I like to speak, because around this, you see a lot of vehicles.
You want to speak, ma'am, you want to
Can
speak?
you come up to the microphone?
Yeah, I was concerned because there are a lot of dwellings around that have, it's like a 1-story family, and they have like 15 people living in the place,
Ma'am,
and cars, and,
Ma'am, we are painfully aware of that.
you know, so that was our concern, the crowding and the water issue.
Only one family is permitted under this zone.
Oh, okay, all right, thank
By
you.
law.
Okay.
Good
Okay,
night.
good luck, all of you, and I hope it works out. All right. Is there anything else anybody wants to talk about?
Well, we have one more.
Can we accept the minutes from the
No.
last meeting?
We got to adjourn for tonight.
What?
We have to adjourn for tonight.
No, that's done, we're not doing that.
Okay, whatever.
Because he didn't have it properly posted. So who wants to second the minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
Zilla?
Aye.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Should, do we do the bills? I'm sorry, I was gonna have a random thought, but I felt better. Make a motion for adjournment of the meeting?
So moved.
Seconded.
Aye,
Aye.
we're done. Thank you very much. I thought it was gonna be